That's the fair enough turkey day parlay. She's gonna fucking smack. Toss a 5 or a 10 on it, and let's buy a nice dinner next week. All right, episode 94 of the Fair Enough podcast. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Little Thanksgiving edition of the pod coming out on a Wednesday. Hopefully everybody's traveling, go see some family, get some fucking much needed time off. And we're gonna hit you with a little bit of sports today. Put together a nice little Thursday Thanksgiving parlay. Have something to ride as a unit while we're eating some turkey, and then we'll ride off into the sunset. How the boys doing? Bob in Detroit, Jack in Detroit, Mike in Chicago, soon to be in Sag Nasty. How are we doing?
Doing all right.
Beautiful.
What's the episode number? 94?
94.
Who's 94? I think Corey Perry's 94 nowadays.
What? No way. Is he?
For the Hawks, yeah. Who else is 94? There's got to be a better 94 out there.
Yeah. The end. There's got to be a good 94. Let's just I don't know.
Corey Perry 94. Blackhawks.
He is?
Yeah. What a hillbilly.
All right.
Anyways, how you doing today, bud?
I'm good. Oh,
nice.
Cameron Jordan and DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware.
That's a
name. That's a big
Dude,
one. And very fitting for Thanksgiving episode too. DeMarcus Ware.
Shit.
Shout out to the Cowboys.
It's funny that we bring up DeMarcus Ware because the other day I think it was yesterday, I saw the nastiest move that I think should be implemented more by DNs. He did a fake spin. So he came up, jabbed out to spin in, and then just stopped his spin, went back, and just ran right by the fucking tackle. It was disgusting.
Damn.
I was like, that's such a smart move, especially one-on-one. That guy's going to be in a blender. I was like, dude, fucking somebody's...
That is a clean move.
Yeah, it was pretty.
That seems like a move that, like, I don't know. I feel like Von Miller or, like, guys like that, finesse kind of the old heads in the league should be using that every week.
For real, for sure. Fucking...
Yeah, that's sick. Shout out to DeMarcus Ware. The DeMarcus Ware, Corey Perry episode.
CB.
Do you want to talk about the Lions-Bears game or no?
I mean, if you want to, go for it. I don't really have much to say.
I have a question for you.
Go for it, bud.
And I know that this was commandment number 1. This is a week-to-week league, but thoughts, feelings on where Justin Fields is at right now? I mean, are we in a holding pattern, or are we still shipping this guy down the river?
I don't know, man. The thing is, it's like so. I mean, I've said this time and time again on here, and if anyone that watches and listens knows, this is like the thing with him is he did it with the Lions last year too in the one game in Soldier Field. Like he's had probably like 10 games in his career so far where he's either had the ball with a lead and just needs a first down or to make a play, or the game is tied, or they're down 2 points and a field goal wins it. And not one of those games has he been the guy to either ice the game away, fucking score the big touchdown, or get the team in a field goal range, or whatever. If you're losing to, he's never. Not once. I'm telling you, you could go back and look at all 30 of his starts or whatever the fuck he has now, and I swear not one time in one-score games has he been the guy to make the play to win the game, ever. It's either he fucks off and then the defense has to hold it or shut it down, which they usually don't do, or we lose the game, which happened against the Broncos. We're up a shitload. He fumbles the ball. They get a fumble 6, 28-28, and then he can't make a play on his next drive. The Broncos get the ball back, drive down, kick a field goal, win the game. And then obviously, yes, it's every single week that he has a chance to ice games. He plays a phenomenal game, all game, manages the ball. Our only turnover was the fucking fumble. And then, obviously the safety at the end, whatever. But it's like every fucking time he's got a chance to like really solidify a game and make a statement against a really good fucking Lions team or something like that. every time, and it's like he doesn't
Yeah.
have the clutch gene. It's like his gameplay is very good right now. His last 4 games has been nothing short of just decent as fuck and or better.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can't finish a game, especially on a mediocre team trying to get better, like how is your team and your GM and your coach supposed to trust you and your fans supposed to trust you when you can't finish a game if you fucking tried? And that's where
Right.
I'm at with it. It's the same shit, fucking new week every single time Justin Fields has the ball late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And I understand the frustration. It was really unfortunate, too, the way that the game ended for the Bears, just because the Lions had pressure all game, but they hadn't gotten home, really. And then somehow, last play of the game, and everybody in Detroit is wondering where the fuck has Hutch been these last few games. Guy gets a lot of pressures, but he hasn't been getting home. And then, sure enough, last play of the game, somehow he absolutely burns the right tackle, almost untouched, and
Who
then
played a good
fucking
game too.
who played a good game. That's what I mean.
And the
And
thing is though,
somehow that first play, and then it's the
it,
game's over
it's
immediately.
not even about the 29 seconds though. It's about the fucking up 12 with 3.5 minutes left. Dude, you
Yes,
get
that's
two
what it's
first
about.
down. Yeah, it's not about the 29 seconds. Like your percentages are so low to score anything on that, let alone to win the game. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's the up 12 with 29 seconds or with 3.5 minutes, and you can't fucking figure it out. Like the play calling isn't there, but also it's like you go into the shell offense and you run right up the gut twice, and then you have a 3rd and 8, and he either can't make a throw or he fucking gets sacked or he throws a fucking pick or he fumbles the ball. Like the only like hard fought, like one of the hardest fought first downs that the Bears had was because DJ Moore fucking muscled his way for a first down on a 3rd and long. Other than that,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I didn't watch the whole game. I watched like red zone and flipping back and forth. But
Right.
like I don't know. He made some good plays, good throws, good runs. But once again, fourth quarter, he's just bad, dude. He has no finish. He's all Swedish.
Yeah. It was frustrating because, yeah, I see it. I mean, it's tough to say against the Lions because the Lions are so bad against running quarterbacks. But I mean, the way that guy runs, like he could run on anybody.
Yeah,
And
for
if he
sure.
can, I was talking to you about this last night, dude. Like he had 3 or 4 throws that should have been big connections, kind of in that 20 to 35 yard range where it was like, okay, this was a dot. Like we know he can make these throws. He has a giant arm. He just doesn't
Mm.
quite have that touch on the ball yet where he's kind of dropping it in there,
I mean, and when does that come? I mean that throw to
And that's
DJ
what I
Moore for
don't
the
know.
touchdown. Yeah, the touchdown to DJ Moore was
That
perfect.
was a
I mean,
great ball. It's like, dude,
could
why
yeah,
can't you do that even half the time?
and I know it doesn't help when like you're throwing your secondary options like Darnell Mooney and like whoever
Yeah.
number 13 is and shit like that. It doesn't help, but also like put the ball on a guy. Let him have a chance at it. But I don't know.
Right.
It gets me frustrated because it's like at the end of the day, I don't care because it's like you'd rather lose. But like I want Fields to be the guy. I don't want to have to reset with the quarterback because then we can use those 2 picks so much better. You take Marvin Harrison
Way
one,
better.
and then you have like the 4th pick or whatever, and it's like you could take Marv and fucking the best O lineman, or you can trade it back
Right.
and get picks. And it's like I don't know. Like at this point, my brother, which is weird, and I hate this. He's like take Marvin Harrison early. If we have 1 and 2, he goes take Marvin Harrison 2, trade the 1 pick back for someone that needs a quarterback. And he's like, take JJ McCarthy at like 10. I was like, are you fucking
Oh
kidding me?
God.
I was like, dude, I'll never be a Bears fan again. Like, I not that I hate on Michigan, but like, I watch enough Michigan games to know that guy is gonna be an Alex Smith at best,
Yep.
and he might win you some games. But come on, dude.
Yep. He's not.
So,
Yeah, I don't see. He's got the mentality, like he loves
oh yeah,
football, and
killer, yeah,
he's got that, but the talent is not. I mean,
yeah.
it's not quite there. But yeah, it was a weird game. I mean, Jared Goff played his worst game of the year. I'm glad that he played his worst game of the year against the Bears,
Mm.
and not in some big important get. Like if he plays the worst game of the year against the Vikings, Week 15, we're probably all fucking jumping off a bridge in Detroit. But to get that one out of the way early, I mean, the guy literally was seeing ghosts out there, 100% seeing ghosts. Like, he was throwing it to people that were not even, like he just didn't see linebackers, which is crazy. But that's a game that the same old Lions lose. Every single time they lose that game. So for them to win that game, we're turning the page a little bit. And we'll get into it, but the Pack coming to town on Thursday, I think it's going to be a rough game for the Pack on Thursday. I'll just say that but we'll get into it a little bit more when we're making our parlay. But I want to play a game with you here. Let's do a little bit of NFL bubble playoff teams because a lot of weird shit kind of happened over the last couple weeks. And I want to talk some in or out guys with you. So you're going to tell me in or out on these teams playoff wise. Let's start with the AFC.
Like what do I think, or what do you think? Do I think they're going to make the playoffs?
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Let's start with the AFC. Let's start with an interesting one because they just lost their quarterback for the year, but they won this week in a low-scoring affair against a fraudulent team, the Cleveland Browns. Obviously lost Watson. Still sitting there at what are they at? They're at fucking 7-3, dude. They're still at 7-3 and don't have Watson, obviously. Probably, is it crazy to say the best defense in football? I mean, it's at least top 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to say that at all. I mean, it's definitely been the most consistent, I think.
It just kind of feels like top to bottom. They have Denzel Ward and guys on the back end, and then add Myles Garrett to that. So you got
he counts for like 4 players.
Exactly.
He's so good, dude. It's unbelievable.
He's so good. He's so good. What'd you think of his interview, Dick Out? Do you think he did that on purpose?
Oh, what? He went interview Dick Out?
Dude, he had an interview last week, shirt off, gray sweatpants on.
And you saw his dick out?
Dude, anaconda right in your face.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. And it kind of, I mean, he's not the kind of guy that would do that on purpose, but it kind of feels like it was on purpose. I think you're going to shit your pants when you see this.
I mean, I don't want to play the video. So, whatever. I'll look into it. That's fine. I mean, good for him.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dick all the way out. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, dude. I told you.
Oh, my God. Yeah, dude. I mean.
That's just him making a case for MVP.
Yeah, I don't think he cares.
Sometimes you got to go dick out.
And when you're well endowed like that, you could just do whatever you want, Just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Dick out. So, you know why I think Cleveland does make playoffs? Their division is booty cheeks. I mean, not division. Their schedule is booty cheeks going forward.
Is it?
So we got, to finish up the year, we got the Broncos, who are playing well, but I think against a good defense like them, it's going to be a weird game. Denver's actually favored. Then you got the Rams, who are bad.
Yep.
You got the Jags, who are good. They'll probably lose that game. You got the Bears, Texans, Jets, Bengals. Texans and the Jags, but
Bengals.
You got the Jets, who suck. The Bengals without Burrow, who knows? And then, I mean, you think that in theory they have 5 more wins sitting in front of them to go 12-5. So it's like even if they go 11-6. You still get in with that record. Shit, if you go 10-7, you probably still get in. And they got 5 winnable, like super winnable games left to play. And
that's the thing is like the way that their defense plays, they could try to win all these games 13-10 if they want.
No, absolutely.
That's how they have to win. They don't have a choice.
Say not try. Like that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
But you never know. Maybe. So obviously the Flacco signing isn't really like crazy news, but like. To help DTR, like become a good quarterback. Because, like, think about there's
For
no
sure.
veteran leadership for the quarterback room, and even with Watson, where it's like,
No.
even if Flacco doesn't come in and play, him being there on the practice squad and shit, I think can really do wonders for this kid's confidence. And like you saw him crying. I don't know if you saw like DTR was crying on the sideline, like this like
No,
sigh
I
of
didn't see
relief.
that.
Like he was like just like hunched over like this, and everyone was coming up to him like congratulating him. He just like broke down. It's like, a kid who played really well in college and kind of didn't think he was ever gonna have a chance. And it's like now all of a sudden he's thrown into this role. Um, you never know. Like you give a guy
Dude,
a little bit of confidence, dude. Like he can run.
kids
So
kid started for 4 years at UCLA too. Kid
that's what I'm
played a
saying.
lot of
A lot of
ball, like a
yeah,
lot of ball.
and pretty high level ball too. Like he was
Oh
good,
yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I mean, growing pains are gonna happen, but if your defense can hang you in there for another 5-6 weeks, and then you're just jumping in, it's like you never know, man.
Yeah, Joe
You just
Flacco
never know.
being there is massive
Oh
for
no,
sure.
I can't
Joe
wait to see what
Flacco.
Savi says, dude.
All right, next up, let's go down to Texas. Houston Texans. Houston Texans on a fucking roll right now at 6-4. Boned me this week though. How do you score 31 points in the first half and you don't hit the over of 47? Pricks.
Damn, that's
Bone to
crazy.
pick. I hope they don't make the playoffs, but I digress.
So how many
Can
teams
Stroud
make the playoffs?
keep it up?
How many teams make the playoffs?
7 now because the 1 seed gets the bye, and then the other 6 play each other in each conference. So as of right now, we got, I'll give you the AFC playoff teams. As of right now, as the way it sits, Kansas City, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Miami, Cleveland, Houston, Pittsburgh are the top 7.
So I think that they hang on. I do think that they make it. Yes.
Do they win the division?
No, I
Beat
don't
Jacksonville.
think they win the division. I don't think so.
Okay, so they
I think
sneak
that
in
they
as
are
one
the.
of
I
those.
think they are the 7th seed. That's where I think they end up.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting, especially if, imagine Jacksonville sneaks up into that 2 seed, division matchup, wild card game. Could be a chance for the Texans to make a little bit of noise. A team that they know,
Yeah, no,
way
definitely.
different than playing a Baltimore team where you're
Or
like,
KC
oh shit,
or something. Yeah,
right,
exactly. No, for sure.
right.
I do think that they slip in though. I think they have, I mean, as sad as it is to say, like they have a complete team right now. They have their
Yep.
quarterback. All these teams, especially in the AFC right now, they just dudes are dropping like flies, and I don't know if some of these teams can hang on long enough, just either getting lucky or using their defense as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that team, I think that they can make it. I think they hold on. They get the 7th seed.
And that's the thing about Houston is it's kind of a middle of the road, around that 20th ranked defense. I think they're 17. So if you're playing good enough offense, you can get by.
I mean, especially in that division, man. There's not a lot of strength anywhere in that division other than Jacksonville. I think they only got to play them one more time. So it's like,
yeah, and for a strength like Jacksonville, not that strong compared to other teams.
Not a gimme. It's not a gimme for
beatable.
Jacksonville. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It's a team you can beat for sure.
Yep. Last one, AFC. Then we'll go to NFC. The most confusing team in the NFL, the Cowboys of the AFC, the Buffalo Bills.
They get in.
The Buffalo Bills get in.
I think
6-5 right now. Losing games they shouldn't.
Yeah, but fucking Cincinnati's losing players they shouldn't. Fucking as well as, the Jets losing players they shouldn't, and fucking Pittsburgh stinks. They're the most fraudulent 6-4 team out there. Like, I just don't know. I don't know who they don't get in over. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Somebody's got to make it, you're saying, and these other teams like can't keep winning down the stretch.
But they do have dude, they have a hard ass schedule. Holy shit.
So hard. Rattle them off.
Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, Pats, Dolphins. 4 out of 6 are against Super Bowl contending teams, literally.
Yeah, that's tough, dude.
Not playoff teams, Super Bowl contenders. Holy fuck, that is tough.
That's tough.
So they might fucking get bounced, but I just don't know who's gonna do it. I don't know. It's gonna be like this is gonna be like a Pac-12 situation where come the end of the year, there's gonna be like 5 teams fighting for one spot, and they're all gonna keep beating each other. And eventually, Buffalo's gonna just jump in somehow because none of them are gonna be able to take the reins and really get in there.
It's gonna come down to some weird metric.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. I mean, unless
who's beat who, like NFC teams, like like something weird like that. So that'll be an interesting one. There's a few other teams out there that I think could make things interesting. I think the Denver Broncos make things interesting coming down the stretch here. That the AFC South, like Indy, if the Indy keeps fucking around and winning games, you never know.
So
and then
this is the
Las Vegas Raiders, last one.
No, I don't. Maybe with old boy Pierce, but this is what I think is going to happen. I think this is pretty chalk, though. I think it'll be KC 1, Baltimore 2, Jacksonville 3, Miami 4, and then you'll have Cleveland as the 5 seed. I'm switching my pick. Houston as the 6 seed, Buffalo as the 7 seed, because of how hard Buffalo's to fucking
schedule is.
Yeah, that was obnoxious.
Yep.
Just because I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be able to do it. I think they'll fall off. And like you said, unless Denver or Indy really figures it the fuck out, or the Jets if fucking Rodgers comes back, which he said he's supposed to come back by like Christmas, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. Like I said, I'd still like to see him do a box jump.
Yeah, no shit.
If he does a box jump, I'm sold. Get that guy out there. All right, let's move over to the NFC. We'll do 3 teams in the NFC too. All right. The team that I have come to hate the most in the NFL, a team with a coach that chews his gum like it's the last piece of gum there might ever be on the planet. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. They're kind of in a weird place now, too. Dropped a game they absolutely shouldn't have yesterday to the Rams. They had a million chances to win that game. The Rams were trying to give the game away. Cooper Kupp dies. Like, how are you not taking control of this football game? And they just somehow didn't.
Yeah. So
take a look at that schedule too.
The NFC is just so weak. Oh, Cowboys not. Holy fuck.
Yeah, next 3 weeks are tough. Rattle those off.
0-3. Niners, Seahawks, Niners, Cowboys, Niners, Eagles. Next 4 weeks.
You hate to see I hate these division games that get sandwiched. The Lions have this with they have Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings at the end of the year. It just makes for such a fucking tough stretch. I have to imagine coaches hate it too because, like, it seems like you just prep for this team. Now you don't even get a break before you're like, all right, we got to scheme up something completely different to try to beat them if we lost or try to hold them off if we won.
Especially when you're like the lesser of the team. Not that like not that the Niners are as big a juggernauts as I think we all thought they were. Like, the Niners are one of the they're better than them. They're better than the Seahawks. Like, it's just is what it is. So it's like when you gotta like prep and it's like give everything you have to try and beat them. It's like the odds of you coming back and beating the Cowboys are slim. And then because you put all your dick on the line for those first 2 games, it's like now you gotta come back and play another. That's just tough fucking football right there. That's unfortunate.
Yep. So thoughts? I mean, the NFC a lot weaker at the bottom than the AFC is. A lot less teams, I would say, like vying for these spots. I would think Seattle would get in, but what do you think?
I do, like, only because of what you just said. there's nobody in the South that's even there's nobody in the South that has a chance like for two teams to get in. Like it's
So,
guaranteed
right.
division winner and that's it. Which
That's
that
it.
really helps everybody. I mean, other than like I don't know, Washington I think is really starting to show their true colors.
Mm-hmm.
And LA, they're just not there right now. They're not there. It just is what it is. I just don't know who. I mean, Green Bay maybe jumps up and takes the reins, but I don't know. They got to play the fucking Vikings and the Lions again, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I just don't think
Who gets bounced?
I,
You know, like all the good teams are
that's what
good.
I
That's the
mean.
problem.
That's what I mean. Like we're looking at the top 7 right now. It's Eagles, Lions, Niners, Saints at the top of the NFC South. Dallas, Seattle, Minnesota. Those are the 7. And then after that, it's everybody else is under 500. It goes 4-6 Green Bay, 4-6 Rams, 4-6 Atlanta, I don't know how they have 4 wins. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Then maybe the best team of the bunch is the Commanders, who just shit the bed against Danny DeVito. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like somebody's got to step up, and nobody's fucking stepping up. You know, it seems
Yeah.
like it's someone's to take the reins. Like it's someone's fucking car to drive here, and nobody's getting behind the wheel for some reason.
Yeah, I even think that it's like that with Minnesota. It's like that with Seattle. So it's like, I mean, I could see one of these teams, Seattle or Minnesota, really just shitting the bed and fucking losing a bunch. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you get a lucky fucking Atlanta or Tampa Bay that somehow wins 8 games and jumps in. But like, I don't know. I think a lot of these frisky teams that started off the year and you're like, oh, like Atlanta beat them and Tampa Bay beat them, and especially because like those guys beat each other in that South division, which because it's so fucking bad. And then like LA kind of came out and was decent, and Stafford got hurt and they stink. It's like, okay, but now all these teams are coming back to life, and like the true dogs are, I feel like, are starting to, assert their dominance and finish off games. Like even like the Lions, like beating the Bears, like you losing to the Bears puts you in a category where you no longer know. But
Yep.
you finish that game, you're losing, you should have lost that game, you come back, you win. Like that's what good teams are doing. I feel like with the Niners, um, and the Lions, they're really solidifying like the fact that they're good. And even the Cowboys, I fucking hate the Cowboys, but they're playing good ball. And granted, their schedule's a little easy, I guess you can say lately. But I mean, the Panthers, Giants. I mean, before the Eagles, they had the Rams, Chargers. Like they've had some easy games. They haven't beaten a good team yet, and they've lost to the Cardinals. But like,
Yeah.
they're playing high level football. Their offense is starting to click more, and I mean, they're beating the
that
fuck
defense
out of these teams.
That defense can like keep them in or win games.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that defense seems like it scores a touchdown every week. That fucking Deron Bland guy's got 4 by himself. He's got more touchdowns than Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the thing is, that is insane. The thing, like the Cowboys, it's like 6 of their 7 wins have been by 20 or more points.
Yep.
Like that's impressive. They're beating the shit out of teams they're supposed to beat, but they haven't beaten a team that's good.
Yep.
And then once again, they've lost to the Cardinals, which obviously it looks and they got their ass beat by the Cardinals.
How does that happen?
But still, the Joshua Romeo Dobbs, dude. What do you expect?
That's who it is, dude. Joshua Romeo Dobbs coming out here throwing it, and that's what happens to you.
I honestly don't even know if we have to go through the rest of the NFC unless you're gonna pick like.
No, we don't,
because it's just they're all the same, and I don't think there's a team other than the Seahawks that is very fringe. And I don't know which team's going to step up and try to pass them. I feel like 2 games might even be too much of a climb at this point for all these shitty NFC teams.
Yep. The only teams that I would even say, have a fighting chance are Green Bay, just because they still, have somewhat of a semblance of a defense. And then the Rams, because they have Stafford, Puka Nacua, and these guys to keep them in games, and Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
So other than that, that's like a prayer.
Yeah,
for either of those 2 teams.
And like the Commanders, like shipped hot, like they shipped Sweat and fucking Chase, where it's like Are you like kind of like giving up? Like they were 4-6 or whatever, 4-5, and they're like, here, take my two best defensive players. Kind
which
of,
is so weird to me.
yeah, kind of a weird situation over there. I don't get it.
Shout out to the boy Sam Howell, was leading the league in passing for a minute. I don't know if he still is after Sunday, but
I mean, the
they
guy puts his
got
dick
like
out there.
that offense is solid. If they,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest problem for them is all the guys with the headsets and whistles. Those guys stink. Ron Rivera is horrible. Like they just don't have anybody to lead this team at this point. So maybe they get an overhaul in the front office now that that guy owns the team, and we can kind of start fresh. But yeah, I think they got good pieces. All right, let's jump into these games on Thursday, and let's try to put something together here. Because you and I were in the lab last night, and what we put together was sound outside of fucking Javonte Williams.
I mean, everything
That
was
guy's a bum.
close, man. Everything was close. It just, the chips definitely didn't fall. But I don't think none of our bets were that. I mean, the Javonte Williams thing was a little bit off. I mean, it was like 15 yards or 18 yards off. But like the way the flow of that game got real wonky in the middle. Got
real wonky.
It got real weird. Nobody was doing much. It was just kind of like a back and forth nothingness. And it was like
horrible game to watch.
And that's a tough look for any player prop, So
yep.
I think our heads
all
are
right,
there, though.
let's start with Pack and Lions. So key factors in this game, obviously Pack coming off a big win against Justin Herbert and company in Lambeau. Lions coming off a win where they played a horrible football game offensively. Defense kind of, even though the Bears scored a lot of points, defense kind of held them in it. Is there any kind of prop that's kind of standing out to you in this game?
I mean, so I don't know the line. I'd have to actually look at the line, but
line's -7.5.
No, dickhead. You're talking about like a literal prop or like a game line?
No,
because like I mean, so to me, even though I'm on Rod 77 yards and a touchdown, like that was an off day for him. I think he was still close to hitting his actual line, which was like 79 or 78.5. So he like just missed his real line. But like to me, that was like a bad day at the office for him.
Yep. We're on the same page here.
So I can see him. I mean, Thanksgiving, fucking. I could see him popping the fuck off. Like I'm talking like go for 120 yards, 7 catches, 8 catches, and like really go home, like hammer it. So whatever his line is, as long as it's not like over 95, I would be very comfortable taking that.
Yep, I like that. And
that.
The thing that I was talking about earlier with Goff played his worst game last week. So I think he's going to want to come out firing too. And the guy that reaps the most benefits from that is number 14, the Sun God.
For sure.
So I like that.
Do they have... Oh, they don't have any player props on DK yet.
Not on DK yet, no.
Damn.
So we're going to kind of have to put this together and then finalize it.
Yeah, conceptualize it and then really put it into practice after the fact.
So we'll go Amon-Ra over his yards.
Right now on FanDuel, his line is at 79.5, which I think that's what it was. So if it stays within 3 of that, I'm extremely comfortable. Even more, honestly. Up to about like 84.5, I would be pretty comfy with.
Yep. Thanksgiving Day. This feels like kind of an Amon-Ra 100-yard type of game.
He's the guy, like, he does not, like, that guy, honestly, like, fuck the Lions. Honestly, I don't care about the Lions at all. I kind of I dislike them, actually, more so than I'm indifferent. I'd rather hate on them than be like, meh, it's the Lions. But I like to see you guys be happy. And it's good to finally, see you guys win a little bit because it's been a while. But that guy, it's hard to not love him. As a fantasy owner, as a gambler, as a football fan, guy goes out there, busts dick every game, puts the team on his back. Greg Jennings, Darren Sharper, hottest hitting
Darren
safety in the
Sharper.
league. Don't matter. The guy plays ball and he knows ball, and I think he might go off for 200 now that I'm thinking about it. Like I'm thinking too much, but he's gonna go bananas on Thursday. He's that guy.
Yep.
He's him for sure.
Well, you always said it too. Even I think it was like the first year that Dan Campbell got here, and when we got Sun God, you were the first one that was like, this team runs through Amon-Ra.
Goes through
like
it. Yeah, 100%.
Keep Amon-Ra on the field. Like, keep him
Yep.
at whatever cost. Like, this is going to be your fucking guy. And you called
100%.
it. And he's been nothing outside of a top 10 receiver ever since he's touched the field.
I mean,
he's good.
Without a little bit of injuries, he's all pro. I mean, in my eyes, he's first team all pro. I mean, Tyreek and then him. Like seriously.
He's never not going to catch the ball when you need him to catch the ball. He's always going to run the right route. Like, he just does everything right. And when you see all the media stuff on him, he knows every player that's drafted before him. You listen to his podcast. Evan said it the other day in our group chat. The guy's super fucking arrogant. And, do I want to get a beer with Amon-Ra? Probably not.
Yeah.
Do I want Amon-Ra on my football team? I don't want him on anybody else's team.
Yeah,
that would suck.
1,000,000%.
He's kind of like a Ryan Reeves. You want him on your team. You don't want to see him on somebody else's team.
I think the line or the play on that then, like, you don't gotta like but if you were to put a game line, I wouldn't play the spread just because you never know. Unless you bought a couple points, but I think just money line for the Lions and Amon-Ra St. Brown over his receiving line, to me, it seems as safe as any bet I've ever played.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a leg. We'll do a 3-legger, and we'll do a leg for each game on Thursday. So we'll do Amon-Ra over 79.5. Let's dip into this second game. The 4:30 game is Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders. What do we think for this one?
I have to see the line. Let me get back on the FanDuel and see what they got. So 10.5. Once again, the Cowboys have won 6 of their 7 games by 20 plus points. So a double-digit spread really doesn't scare me. And with the way the Commanders just played against the Giants and Danny DeVito just threw all over them, and the way that Dak and CD are clicking right now, and with the soft defense that the Commanders are putting out there right now, I feel like the 10.5 is the play. I know double digit, like division fucking, like that's tough.
I know. And doesn't it worry you that the Commanders played so bad last week that this has to be some sort of a bounce back game for them? Like, this is fucking nuts on the table. You have to at least show up.
So I just don't get where and how. Like, your defense can't get any better because there's no one there to get better, to be better with. They don't have the guys that they need to put the pressure on Dak. And like, also you're playing against, dude, the Giants had a defensive touchdown the other day. Like, Sam Howell is getting fucked on in the fucking backfield every goddamn
big
play.
time.
I don't know if you see like any bit of
most
pressure.
sacked quarterback in football.
That's what
outside
I'm saying.
of, I think it's him and Bryce Young are like 1-2.
And it's like, oh, guess who's on the other side of that line? Is arguably the best player in the NFL, top 4, at least top 4 defensively for sure. In Micah Parsons, and that whole D line is nasty. I don't think this is a bounce back. Fucking Cowboys on Thanksgiving in the fucking Thanksgiving uniforms. What I would do player prop wise, though, I wouldn't touch anybody on the Cowboys. Maybe a CD line, depending on what he's got. But I would think Brian Robinson's receiving line and or rushing and receiving line, I'd like, because he gets fed in the pass game, man.
He does.
I just don't know what it is.
He does get fed in the pass game.
They don't have the player.
I was going to say, too, CD is just a little volatile. Yeah, as far as, what he's been doing week to week. But yeah, you want to talk about Brian Robinson. Last 2 weeks in the receiving game, guys got 6 targets, 7 targets. a buck 20 and 60 yards. So I mean,
Yeah, okay, yeah, I didn't even know they were that good either. Like,
yeah,
I knew it
last
was
couple weeks,
decent,
guy has
but
been literally a receiver out there.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I wonder what, like, his receiving plus rushing is probably gonna be like 85, 90,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 85, like something along those lines. He's gone over 100 yards total offense, fucking in the last 2 weeks. I don't know.
Let's do a little flex for game 2. You can either do Cowboys cover that 10.5 number,
Mm-hmm.
or Brian Robinson receiving.
Like, I really don't love taking the double digit spread, but like, dude, like this year. So they even said, I was watching Sports Advisors the other day, and Stu Feiner was like, "You never take double digit favorites in the NFL," and he goes, they're like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Well, except this year, actually, double digit favorites are really good this year," and it's like, dude, like, because the NFL is becoming the NBA. It's like the National Blowout Association. Like, motherfuckers
Mm-hmm.
just get blown out. I mean, I don't know. So I could see both
Yeah,
of those. I like them both. I like anything Brian Robinson related, and I like the Cowboys minus 10.5.
and I agree. It's really just a battle of, do you think that Washington can bounce back, or do you think that the fact that the Cowboys beat up on bad teams holds true? And I would agree. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the way that I lean, rather
Mhm.
than how do you piece together, like you said, a Washington bounce back. I don't know how you do it. I
Yeah, I just
don't
don't know
see
where
it
it
on
comes.
paper. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the problem.
So I think it's more so Cowboys beat bad teams. All right.
Mhm.
Last game, the 8:20 game on Thursday night is Niners traveling to Seattle in division game to play the Seahawks. Spread is Niners -7 on the road.
Mm.
Seattle home dogs in a game where, I mean, a team that actually can bounce back.
Yes, definitely
Seattle.
can come back. Can bounce back. Looking at the numbies right now, I feel like my heart. I'm betting with your heart. That's the stupidest thing in the fucking planet. Don't ever do that, kids. Um, Everything is telling you to take the under in this game, and that's why I would take the over in this game. And then for a player prop, I mean, Old Faithful, I would actually check this the fuck out. Talk about getting ballsy if you want to get goofy on the other side. You take a 2-leg parlay, Kenny Walker and fucking Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown. But that's not what I would play in our parlay. um,
Right.
but
Kenny
I think
Walker's dead. Zach Charbonnet.
oh, he's dead. Yeah. Then no,
Yep.
don't do that anymore. I forgot about that. Fuck. I would do McCaffrey's receiving plus rushing. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just automatic. But I like
Mm-hmm.
the over in this game. I don't know why. I feel like the Seahawks have to fucking really play their balls off to win this game. The 49ers have just dropped fucking 30 plus or 27 and 34 the
Yep.
last 2 weeks. And you
Seahawks
know,
coming off a game where the offense kind of sputtered. Bounce
exactly.
back game for the
I mean,
offense.
unless it comes out that Geno is banged the fuck up still, I
Mm-hmm.
like the over in this game. Just because, like I said, if you really look at the numbers, like it's screaming to take the under. Majority of these teams' games have gone under the line, which is I think 42.5 or some shit.
The only other thing that I would consider here,
43 and a
player
half.
prop wise,
What's that?
would be Debo. Debo rushing and receiving. Brock Purdy and the Niners offense is so much better when Debo's out there for
Is
whatever
playing?
reason.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
So, and I think the offense kind of moves through him. And, when they're not on the ground with McCaffrey, it's moving through him. And then George Kittle kind of has a game every other
Well,
week. You have
so
no idea when that guy's going to
well,
pop
they
off.
say
So,
so it's actually crazy if you look at the splits when Purdy has all four of them: McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, and George Kittle. Brock Purdy's
mhm.
like the best quarterback in the league, literally.
Right.
You take one of
Yeah,
them out, and all of a sudden Brock Purdy's back at Iowa State, and you're like,
it's wild.
it is wild. It's so
Makes no
crazy.
sense.
And when all three of those guys are there, Kittle tends to really take the back burner and really doesn't pop off ever. So I mean, if you're ever gonna take an under, it's Kittle. which we don't take unders here.
No.
But unless it's a game line, I'm not taking player prop unders, so I'd rather just not make the fucking bet.
Right.
But yeah, dude. I mean, I don't hate that. If they all four of them play, I kind of like even Ayuk, bro. Ayuk's catches and receiving yards. I mean, he's fucking Purdy's favorite target.
Yeah.
But there's more. I think there's just more plays designed for Debo, so he's like the safer for the rushing and the receiving. You know.
So we'll go another flex there. CMC rushing receiving or
Debo
rushing receiving.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, I don't hate that at all. I just think CMC, the odds are probably going to be, oh no, they'll make it an even line. But like, it's just, he just gets so many touches. Like,
volume is there.
Yeah, the volume is there. And I mean, the Seahawks aren't like a bad defense by any means, but like, he's just so good. And if Big Trent is playing, that obviously helps everyone's cause. If Trent Williams ain't playing, then we've got to stay away from all fucking 49ers props. No joke.
Facts. Okay. Well, we got this thing put together. So we got 3 legs here. 1 in each game on Thursday. The Turkey Day Parlay Special. Amon-Ra St. Brown over his yards. Hopefully 79.5. Second game, Cowboys, Commanders. Cowboys cover is what we like. If you want to add some sprinkle in there, Brian Robinson receiving. Lastly, in the night game, Seahawks, Niners, Christian McCaffrey, rushing, receiving. Take it to the bank. If you want to get cute, toss Debo in there too. But I think that's going to be my 3 legs. Amon-Ra, Cowboys to cover, CMC, rushing, receiving.
I mean, that just sounds so. It's good. None of them are gonna hit now that we said it, but that sounds so.
Come
good.
on,
I know.
That's the fair enough. That's the fair enough Turkey Day parlay. She's gonna fucking smack. Toss a 5 or a 10 on it, and let's buy a nice dinner next week.
Fuck yeah.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Beautiful. Anything, Jack? Jack's in a new place. We didn't really get to talk about that. We're gonna have to talk about that next week.
Yep, new place.
Love that.
New place. Okay. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Have safe travels.
Absolutely.
And let's win some fucking money. And we'll talk to you next week. Peace.